And this mod is so wild. Being conquered by Scotland.
Oh my god. I put on player map mode and I was like, where the fuck are you? Like, I couldn't find you.
I exist near Switzerland.
Just so massive. All the little principalities of Germany. Holy fucking shit. Staggering.
Yep. Yep. Why is someone's mic just open? Uphead, are you masturbating right now?
That is here.
No, I'm crouching.
What?
I'm crouching in a game, and to crouch in the game, it is the right control button, which is also my speak. Okay? Would you prefer I use the left control to crouch?
Speak. Speak to us through the white noise. Let us hear your voice. Let your voice ring out.
Ran out amongst the people and be free.
Landlords are no better than feudal lords. When the revolution comes, Mach will be an acceptable casualty as part of the ruling bourgeoisie.
Been on your team the whole time. That feels unfair.
I know, but I feel like, don't you think that during the revolution, if such a violent act similar to the French Revolution happened, you'd be dragged off in an act of mistaken identity?
Hell no. I would be like, I'd be up in that bitch like Lafayette. I'd be like left for a while, then he'd be like, alright, but now he's not left enough. And then I would just quietly drift off into exile and it would be fun.
Like, what do you mean you're not a radical anarchist?
I'd be like, I believe in the role of the state to help the poor and the people. And you'd be like, yeah, but like, anarchism. I'd be like, okay, I'm out. See you guys. Have fun. I'll be like, well, you put some blood, sweat, and tears in for the cause, so we good. Like, yeah, that's right.
Charming. There will be no revolution.
You're
Not
such
for
a
a
little...
long time.
You're such a pessimist. No, not for a long time. Trump will not be the catalyst to some great rising up in the United States consciousness.
Trump is
You
a
know-
very pleasant action.
The way that Victoria II maps consciousness and militancy and how that drives reforms and rebellions can inform our political understanding in the United States right now, don't you think?
Maybe it's been a while. I just remember having to like fucking give these political reforms so they stop getting mad. They won't let me give them like in my ideal world. I would have been like, let me give you a bunch of social reforms and no political reforms. How's that? How's that? How's that? Let me give you healthcare.
That's what they do. That's what they do, though. They say, oh, okay, well, we better give someone something. People are getting a little too militant around here, right? And then we go, oh, okay, maybe the Democrats are okay for a little bit. You know what I mean? Right, Manchester?
Sorry, complete the thought again? I wasn't looking at sortition. I might go sortition, I'll be honest with you. It's kind of okay when I was playing as Venice in single player.
What is sortition? What is this?
Sortition is like you have an election, then you have a new ruler, and then you get a choice of like 3, and you can pick one, and picking one costs 25 Republican power. Then
it's like a merchant republic.
Yeah, then they rule for life. And then at least as Venice, they're usually old, but they're usually quite good. They're like 4, 5, 3 or something like that. Like they're generally good stats on them. Or you can just like click on like option 4 and it just like picks one of them at random. I don't know if sortition, if like you pick it through this interface and not the Venetian style, if it's as good. It's a hard call.
I mean, I know with Florence, we're talking about EU4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I know with Florence, you can just choose to keep them in this Republican tradition, and then they slowly become 666s, right?
No.
No?
Not with sortition. Sortition is more like the Ottoman government.
Where they rule for life, and they don't have another election?
Yeah, but you elect them, and they're already like good. It's sortition.
I've played sortition before. It's okay. I think traditional republicanism with short elections is better, but
Do you think?
I like it more. I find managing Republican I feel like look at our current game with Sid and you. I'm always like maxed out on alt 100% of the time. Yeah. I often have like points to burn where I have full ideas, full tech, and I'm like, okay, I have to just spend this on dev, I guess. I have no other choice.
Incidentally, in that game, I've just had good monarchs like the entire fucking time. Like it's the most successful, most lucky I've been on monarchs like ever.
Oh, nice.
I've stayed monarchy in that game, and I've just been prospering because I've had good rulers. So in multiplayer, if you play the Pope, I did this recently in a large multiplayer EU4 game, and you do all the decisions, you can slow the Protestant Reformation or even just effectively stop it until the 1600s, which is kind of wild. You know, you get all these decisions that affect the entire religious sentiments of the game. Yeah, it's the religious reform mechanic thingy. Yep. Oh, have they added a bunch of stuff where you can slow it now? Because I mean, it's like they have a bunch of little things, like every one province minor like passes the like burn heretics at the state for 2% more tax, and that like all those every time an OPM passes that, it's like a 1% religious reform desire. So it does just make it inevitable.
So as the Pope, you get these. No, it's not true, because as the Pope, inevitable, yes, but you could slow it down by 150 years as the Pope, because you get these events where you can say, do I accept 500 ducats, basically? It's like based off your tax base or something, for free, essentially, or do I lose one stability and not get that money through giving... You can ban the sale of indulgences, that's one of them, and it drops the reform by 10%.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
And you get a couple more of those where you can slow it down as the Pope if you're a player.
Yeah, 10% is significant, I suppose. Yeah.
I'd have to look at it, but I think you get 3 events like that that you can drop the religious reform.
Banning indulgences, but then we'll all be making less money.
Yeah, come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Are you saying... Wait, hold on. I've got it in my wallet here. Are you saying this ticket that I bought cost me $1,000 to get into heaven? Are you saying this is worth nothing? Fucking heathen. Those poor
My
guys.
pride does not
They were
allow
so
me to
fucked.
accept this.
If I ever play another multiplayer game with you seriously, guys, without wanting to just fuck around and make people angry, I'd play the Pope.
Why do you wonder why we never invite you to our multiplayer games? It's so annoying. Like, why do you do all of these alienating things? Pop up. Be having a perfectly nice time.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. If you had invited me to the game at 1444 start, I would have had a lot of fun and probably taken it more seriously.
Taking it more
show
seriously.
up?
Did you just correct my grammar like Sid?
Yes.
Taking it more seriously, and you said taken?
Token it.
Yeah,
Token is not a real word, to be fair. That's just some nonsense.
that's something that people say up here, man. Taking it more seriously. Yeah, that's a valid way to say that.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's by definition not a valid way to say that.
It's vernacular. It's a slang and vernacular difference.
But vernacular is not valid, so ergo.
Unfortunately,
atheists.
unfortunately, if ignorant people say like the non-correct conventions enough, it does eventually become correct.
You're goddamn right.
One of the things that annoys me a lot is like you ever write like the 1980s like as like the 80s, 80 as a number and then an S at the end. It really bothers me.
AD apostrophe S.
Bothers me when people put an apostrophe in. Like that's wrong.
I do it. I do it.
Oh, I hate you. I hate you. The friendship is over. I hate you.
Why
You mother.
is that
It's
wrong.
wrong.
Is it really
It's
wrong?
incorrect.
Is it really?
Yes.
Is it really?
You fucking
Are we-
idiot.
are we
Fucking
talking-
moron.
are we
Who
talking-
taught you grammar?
Are we,
It's not
are we
possessive.
talking numerical? Are we talking numerical here?
Yeah, if you write the like 80, like the
80,
like Arabic
yeah.
numerals, and then apostrophe S, plural, you don't put an apostrophe in. And then I see it all the time on like things that are supposed to be like formal, correct things, and it's wrong, and it bothers me. And it's gonna be It's gonna be
It's not
adopted
possessive. It's
as
not possessive.
correct because these fucking morons never learn correct grammar and fucking keep doing it, and it just irritates me.
Wait, but why is it not correct? Is it because it's not possessive?
It's
Is
not
there a reason?
possessive
Yes.
or a contraction.
Apostrophe? No, apostrophe is used for contraction, right? So you're abbreviating 80s to begin with. So 80 is a word. You have an IE that's missing. So you have 80, and then IE is missing. So you apostrophe then
It's
S.
not you're not contracting two actual words.
Yeah,
Just-
it's not like don't, right? It's not the same. It's like it's not like do not, don't. It's fuck.
I don't know if
I don't do it. I don't do it, Manchester. So there you go.
I
Very,
do. I don't know if I
very
buy
happy. I'm very pleased with you, Top Hat.
it. First time that's ever been said.
Yeah, you know what I do though, which drives my English professors in college, drove them crazy. I used I fortunately cut down on it now. I used to use a lot of scare quotes. It's so fucking unprofessional. Never use scare quotes in any formal document. Don't do it, please.
What?
You use what? What is this?
Scare quotes.
I don't know.
Are you familiar with scare quotes?
What's the phrase mean?
So if you're essentially making an offhanded or sarcastic comment, you would put it in scare quotes to show that you're not using it in the literal sense of the meaning. I'll give you an example.
I'll put you in square quotes, baby. Oh, baby, you got me.
Oh, I'll give you an example that actually the BBC does on a regular basis. When they say the so-called Islamic State, right?
Yeah.
When they refer to it as this, quote, so-called Islamic State, end quote, that is using scare quotes.
Okay.
Where
That's
they're,
benign.
yeah, it's considered unprofessional, though, in any... I would not want to do it if I was a journalist.
Unless you're doing it too much, it seems benign to me. There are things, and it is true with the English language, where you do have leeway, and it's like, you can kind of do what you prefer. It is true.
Oh, here's another example. So say you're talking about global warming, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you say, within a sentence, putting the term, quote,
so-called
global warming, end quote.
Global warming.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And then you continue on with the sentence. Without, you're not quoting anybody, right? You're not quoting anybody, but you're putting it in scare quotes to say so-called, sarcastic.
Unless you do it excessively. If you do it excessively, you could tone it down.
Well, I don't know, why is it so bad? You're basically using it to indicate tone, and everyone understands it's there to indicate tone.
But you're not quoting anybody. It's the same issue with the 80s remark. It's not grammatically correct.
You are. Theoretically, you are quoting people, right? You're basically saying this is something other people say. I don't necessarily believe in it. Ergo, rather than having it be my words, I'm quoting the common wisdom, if you will. So it's not a direct quote, but it's a cultural quote.
All right. I mean, I guess we can take that. The attempt is to elicit doubt, or skepticism.
Sure. But I would say even more, it's to demonstrate your own skepticism rather than necessarily to elicit it's a demonstration of personal opinion.
I was an undergraduate, and he didn't like split infinitives. And I had never learned what a split infinitive was, but like, for example, like when you have a verb, like the infinitive is like to visit, to run, to go. And if you put an adjective or like an adverb, whatever, like in between the to and the verb, that's a split infinitive. So like to quickly run, something like that. That's called splitting the infinitive. But actually it is grammatic. You can split infinitive. It's totally permissible in the English language. And there are cases in speaking and writing where you can't properly communicate a thought without splitting your infinitive. For example, the statement to properly communicate a thought versus to communicate properly. So to communicate properly, I mean, it's...
But couldn't you say to communicate a thought properly?
I mean, it's also correct. That's another viable way, but it's clearer to split your infinitive in a lot of cases.
So, I like the example that my grammar teacher taught me in high school about split infinitives. Mm-hmm. Star Trek, to boldly go where no man has gone before, that's a split infinitive.
That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah. But it's there to it executes something effectively when it's communicating something, right?
You
so
could
it's
say
not just
to go
gratuitous.
where no man has gone before boldly.
Yeah, I mean,
it sounds wrong because we're so used to that specific cadence. But I mean, if you were not so familiar with that exact phrasing, that would not sound so weird, which is interesting. It only sounds so weird because we're so used to that exact phrasing.
Freddie was telling me about grammar differences in English once, and he had said, like, you wouldn't say the great green dragons or the green great dragons. You have a very specific way that we set up our adjectives and nouns, and we don't really have a written rule down on it, or we don't really think we do as native English speakers, and we just sort of do it automatically. I was like, that's kind of interesting.
Oh, German is so weird. German is the weirdest language. You basically talk like Yoda, is how Germans speak. I mean, that's the
I
best.
know, I've
That's
heard a
the
little-
best analogy for what it is.
There's not a lot of meat.
But
on how
as
they
the only
construct
one of us who
sentences.
speak German, I'm not clear. Go on. Make your point, counselor.
Because if you want to, let's say you want to translate a sentence from English to German, like you have to, like the rules are. Well, you're the native German speaker, so explain what the fuck I'm trying to say here. Like you have your word order, you got your noun, then you got your verb at the end. So like when Yoda speaks,
You have your verb. It's the second
has
word.
these circuitous
unless-
sentences.
So you have subject, verb, object, unless you have a modular word. So you would say, I am going to the park, or you would say, I must to the park go. So basically,
Right.
all that really happens
That's what
is
I'm on
the
about.
verb.
I must to the park go. That's what I'm on about.
Yeah.
The verb goes to the end if you modulate the sentence.
Okay.
So shall, must, forgetting the other ones, would, should, the
But back to
modular words.
Back to my original point, you would never say the great green dragons or the green great dragons. You would say it a specific way, right, with the adjectives. So we have an adjective order.
What the fuck are you on about green dragons?
Of precedence. We have an adjective order of precedence.
The great green
And-
dragons or the green great dragons, you're saying? We'd only say the great green dragons.
Right. And why would you do that?
Because great is more complimentary.
But they're both descriptive adjectives.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. I never thought about that before. So why would I do that?
There's no written down grammatical reason why we don't when we use two adjectives for one noun. But there's a natural cadence of speaking that dictates which one we use more effectively, to press on the point. And Freddie was telling me that that's really weird to him, that there's no specific rule for it.
I think he's right, to be honest. Sorry, 2 seconds. I need to... I think he's right. I think that is weird, actually. Now that I think about it, that's very strange.
There's just an accepted form of communication that we kind of just fall into, naturally as native English speakers. And it's difficult to communicate the order of adjectives to non-native English speakers.
I'm non-native English.
Yeah, but you did have a time growing up in the U.S., didn't you?
I was just making a sexual innuendo.
Oh, okay.
Oh, God, I'm so fucking weak and poor. This is spectacular.
Who are you playing?
Hohenzollern.
Oh, I can actually view this in the fucking... Oh, but you're not my friend. That's unfortunate.
That is entirely your fault.
It's been years since we talked, Mac. You know that, right?
Yeah, but you've arbitrarily unfriended me so many times because you're dramatic and want attention.
That was back in the day when I was young and impulsive. And now
AKA
I'm,
like a year and a half ago.
and now I'm old and impulsive.
There you go.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
I just turned 24.
You're 28, right? We're the same age.
No, I'm a bit younger than you. A couple of years younger.
Oh, yeah.
Really? Manchester, how
Wait.
old are you?
26.
Oh, so you're Joe's age. You're Joe's age.
I thought Joe was Mac's age, and then Sid is 2 years older than Mac, last I recall.
I think
Sid is
Sid is older
30.
than me. Yeah.
Sid is 30, yeah.
Sid's 30. Joe is Mac's age, I think.
Yeah, he's got 3 or 4 years on me. I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh, do I fight these shitty fights?
Is your name Mozart?
Fun fact.
What is What is your username, Machiavelli?
Main church. It's the same as in Steam.
Huh. Doesn't look like Mac has you as a friend. Charming.
Can't add me as a friend.
Mac doesn't have you on his list of friends, or you've blocked me. I don't know, buddy.
No, Kane Church, not Mac.
No, I'm on Mac's list. Oh, I found you.
You're on Mac's list? Who is Mac?
I think he's confusing you for me.
Oh, I was confusing. Yep.
Okay.
I was on Manchester's profile looking for you. Never mind.
There you
I
go.
found you.
In my
Well done.
defense, I haven't changed my online name for like 15 years. And
Yeah,
I've just always
I did
been
change mine.
I've just always been Manchester.
Well, so I made Mac when I was like 14 or some shit, but then I was like, okay, but now I'm actually going to in a career that involves online names, and I don't want to be fucking that douche child who's Machiavelli. Like, fuck you.
So,
Speaking as someone who has read the discourses on Livy and the Prince at length, I highly disagree that there is any shame in naming yourself
I've
Machiavelli.
read The Prince.
The
and
dude,
Prince is
the dude, by the way, I don't know if you're aware, if you read the discourses on Livy, is a Republican, just so you're aware.
yeah, he is,
And
he
he's
is
an
a
awesome
Republican.
guy, so it's nothing
He
to be
is.
ashamed about.
The Prince is more of an analysis of his compatriots that he sees, right?
Well, I think
their
the
powers
Prince
that
is
they use.
legit as well. I don't think, like some scholars think the Prince is like a
It's
quote-unquote
satirical.
ironic book. I don't think
Yeah.
it is. I think it's legitimate, but I think that he also is a Republican at the same time. He's just a realist who says this is just the way the world works.
Yeah.
Look, so here's what I'm trying to say. Is I agree. I read The Prince. I really liked it when I was like 14 years old. I thought it was cool. But it's also because of the cultural image of Machiavelli, it's also very passé to be called Machiavelli. It has certain connotations of who you are as a human being and shit. And I did not want to have that association. Why I chose to be...
Is
well,
so is the internal
me.
culture of Riot? Is it like working for Google?
Well, you know why
Not too far off.
Machiavelli. You know why Machiavelli and Machiavellian has arose in the English language as a negative purgative, right?
Why is that?
Because his
Pejorative.
works are banned. His works are banned in England.
You're banned
In
everywhere.
England specifically.
Everyone read it
Yeah, but
anyway.
they were banned in England specifically, so they adopted the word Machiavellian a couple hundred years later as kind of an underhanded guile person thing. Yeah,
You're a guile person thing?
yeah. Intrigue.
Your mother's a...
I've added you. You should add me. Also, what year are you
I
playing?
already accepted your
Is
invite, homeboy.
The year of our Lord, 1101 AD.
Yeah, I'm seeing that, and I'm concerned. I've never seen. Is this like a mod?
Yes.
Yes. It's a
We're playing Voltaire's
it's
Nightmare.
a spectacular, beautiful, horrible world we inhabit.
Manchester and I have like this deep masochism streak that we don't fully acknowledge, but we absolutely
just-
have.
Are you just playing these crap mods for fun, guys?
No, this is a great mod. It's a fantastic mod, but it's a very punishing mod. The mod that makes you hate yourself.
Masochism is the best word to describe
Okay.
what we're doing.
I'm looking at it, and I've just subscribed to it. I've subscribed to it, and I'm gonna
It's a great
download
mod.
this fucking mod, and we're gonna see how this goes. Oh wow, 1054 to 1871. Okay.
Great mod. Oh god, the fucking bad boy in the HRE is a fucking nightmare. Oh, I see you would like to expand. Well, let me just fuck that up for you.
Peaches.
So I'm
Yeah,
looking at
of
this
course.
mod right now.
Yes. How's it going for you?
Kind of reminds me of MEIOU and taxes with the expanded map. And my
Really?
immediate thought is nothing good can come from this, but I've downloaded it anyway.
MIOU and taxes was like super punishing, right? They added a bunch of like fuck you events for no.
They also had very complex systems hidden behind event menus, which frustrated several people.
I do remember MIOU and taxes being a fucking nightmare born from dust. Oh god, it's 22 fucking bad boy for an 8 dev province. Are you fucking kidding me? What are we even doing here? 22 dev, 22 bad boy.
At least you can expand.
All right, guys.
You gotta.
Do you mind if I smoke a cigarette and then actually join you? I'll play far away. I just want to try this mod out.
Yeah, you can play wherever you want. I mean, ideally not next to us, but
Right next to you is the biggest country. Got it.
yeah, exactly.
I'll be back in like 5:10. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette, get a soda. But no, the mod seems interesting. I'm booting it up now.
Great mod.
I bet it's crap.
Why we can't have night. I wish I could take more provinces, but everyone will hate me. Oh yeah, everyone will hate me. 22 bad boy for one province. You're just gonna have to end your fucking.
Wow, look at Easton go. It's really big. The day when Meissen is one of the biggest states in Germany, Lusatia.
Yeah, because they took a bunch of fucking Bohemia, right? I was watching that war go
Yeah.
on. Wow, yeah. Wow. They took the Sudetenland. They were like, dear Czechs, this is a gentle reminder that the Sudetenland belongs to us. Czechs were like, yeah, okay, fair play.
So how in history did Saxony migrate from like where Hanover is to like where the Saxony we know and love is?
I actually don't know. I think that's a super interesting thing that I don't have a good answer for.
I suppose it must be different groups of Saxons. Yeah, because in here it's like they use Lower Saxon, Upper Saxon. Anglo-Saxons were their own group who actually crossed the channel and stuff. That's funny. All of like the Eastern HRE is still Slavic because it's we started in the 11th century.
Yep.
And they're actually still not a part of the HRE. And they're the wrong culture. Can we handle 3-speed?
Not yet. We need to kill more tags. I tried it a few times. Here, I can try it again, but I
That's
found
alright.
that
It doesn't work. It's fine.
the tag count's outrageous. It literally doesn't go out. It doesn't get super mad. It just forces us back to 2 at some point. Well, this is going okay. Routenmeister. Oh, and now I lost you. At some point we start getting packet loss because just the amount of tags that are happening.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I'm full of tags, okay. Annex him? What can... Really? I still get a coalition? Brutal though, really. It's like, oh, so you would like to take 7 dev and fast lads 15? Well, hope you enjoy your coalition, cunt. I'm like, oh, okay. Had fun. But why can't I? Fabia, I'll say.